You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy. The following podcast contains spoilers and rude words. We watch the thing. We watch the thing. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Watched a Thing. It's Thriller Week here, Dave. You can't see it, unfortunately, because it's an audio platform, but Dave just whipped out the coolest moonwalk I've ever seen.
Not to mention that crotch grab.
Well, of course I wasn't going to mention that, mate. I don't want to take it off the air.
That was just for funsies.
This week we've got a couple of things to talk about. Something new, something old. We've got a patron request, but let's kick it off with The Watchers, titled The Watch in the UK and Ireland. Is a 2024 American supernatural horror film written and directed by Ashana Night Shyamalan in her directorial debut.
Is she a knight as well, or is she just a Shyamalan?
She is a Night Shyamalan. She's the whole package. She is, of course, the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan, who produced the film, and it's based on the 2022 novel of the same name by A.M. Shine. It stars Dakota Fanning, Georgina Campbell, Olwen Feur, and Oliver Finnegan. And what is it about, mate?
It is about a young American woman in Ireland who works at a pet store and is tasked with delivering this rare parrot to Belfast Zoo. So she heads off in her car, and car breaks down in a forest that is apparently not on any map.
Yeah, even though her GPS is directing her through the forest.
We'll get to her odd GPS momentarily. But then she finds there's weird signs in this forest. It's all a bit scary, and she starts hearing sounds and feels like she's being chased. And an old lady says, "Quick, come here and get inside this cabin thing." Well, it's not a cabin; it's more of a bunker building, really. It's made of bricks and shit. It's not the made of sticks or straw. It's the brick one. And she gets in just in time, and then finds herself kind of unable to leave, along with these three other people, where they get seemingly observed every night by things that they can't see, and have to, I guess, decipher this entire mystery of the situation she's in and escape from it, essentially.
Let's get into it. As I mentioned last week, I'm a Shyamalan apologist. You are not. You claimed that the last decent thing he did was The Village. I am a little bit more pro Shyamalan. I quite liked Old.
Billy liked Old.
The
so
Visit.
I thought
Knock at the Cabin was decent. So obviously this is not Shyamalan himself, but it is.
Although I did read he was
adjacent.
on set every single day of the entire film production.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So look, I actually thought the trailer for this looked kind of decent. I'd seen it a couple of times at the cinemas.
I think I said to you, the trailer for this looks awesome, and then the next day I said, forget that. I watched it again, and it says Shyamalan on it. But I did think it looked. I thought it looked good.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this. Not to show any of my cards yet, but why don't you tell us what you thought of The Watchers?
Okay, well, I'll start with the good stuff.
Okay.
You don't see the creatures for a fair chunk of the film. There's some sounds, and then there is a sort of a reveal where you see one of these things sort of stand up and elongate and get taller and taller and taller. That was really good.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm done. That's the good stuff.
Well, you had more good stuff than me then, because look, there are some instances where holding the monster back obviously works to great effect. I mean, talk about Jaws, talk about so many fucking movies.
We cannot mention Jaws or Alien in the same review as this film.
Well, this movie is not one of them. I actually think that holding the monster back was a disservice. I just don't think it worked.
Well, when the only good thing you have is the creature design, keeping your cards close to your chest for 2/3 of the film isn't helping you.
I just think this was...
I think if they had shown any more of them, it would have no longer been the only positive, because part of the positive is that you don't quite see these things, and then
yeah, but for me that's a huge flaw because
that
you never even
scene
get the reveal. Like, yeah, you get the standing up, but it's still only silhouette. You never actually see the monsters at all.
I don't think they had a good design. I think
every time they're visible,
it's kind of like the online Slender Man mythos.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Half of the creepiness is this weird.
Yeah,
and I wasn't lying. That scene where they're hiding under the tree stump thing.
Yeah.
And you see them, this thing and I thought, oh, they're just these fucking crawling bullshit things. They look like the future spider bats from Primeval. But then when it stands up and it just keeps getting taller and taller and taller and taller, that was genuinely creepy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was the only bit that was good.
I've seen a lot of horror movies in cinemas this year, and I've seen a lot of movies that I've heard many people claim are the worst movie of the year. Night Swim I actually quite liked. Tarot was a bag of arse, but it was still moderately fun at least. I thought Baghead was atrocious. This really takes the cake.
Baghead wasn't atrocious. It just wasn't very good.
This really takes the cake. This is hands down probably the worst movie I've seen so far this year. And I don't know, man.
I wouldn't say that, but it is very badly written.
Terribly written. It's terribly directed. It's terribly acted. It's terribly everything. There's no kind of sense of dread or tension at any point in this film for me. The characters are badly written. The only one that, you kind of like is Dakota Fanning, and that's just because I kind of like her as an actress.
What?
She is a complete of a character, but... But,
I didn't like her, and I hated her.
Yes.
She's selfish. The flashback that I assume is supposed to give us, now I understand. No, I fucking hate young her more than I hate old her.
100%.
She was a shit as a kid.
Yes.
She's a selfish shit as an adult.
Agreed.
I wanted her to die.
Yeah. And, for me, I think I spoke about this when I did Old, which from memory was with Sam Hurley from Movie Reviews in 20 Qs. The only problem I really had with Old is that you kind of...
The entire writing of it and direction.
Is that you're kind of waiting for like a twist, but then there isn't really a twist. I don't think the twist justifies...
There is. The entire thing is jammed into a 20-second coda at the end of the film.
Yeah. And
it's terrible.
I feel a little bit the same here. The movie wants you to wait for a twist. There really is. I mean, certainly not to me. It didn't. It was so obvious from the moment we met that character. I knew exactly what was happening. It was never a twist. I hate everything
the old lady, you mean?
Yeah, of course. I hate everything that happens once they get out of the forest, even more than I hate what happens in the forest.
It didn't fucking end.
It doesn't end. It just keeps going.
I mean, and look, we should say at this point, yes, Shyamalan wrote the screenplay, but it is based on this Irish...
Based on a book.
Blokes.
I can only imagine the book is terrible as well.
I am intrigued to read it because I have seen a couple of Reddit posts, because I went online to see how much of my vitriol I can throw at the Shyamalan clan and how much I need to sort of go, oh, well, maybe this is A.M. Shine. There are a number of Reddit posts I thought that predating the production of this film saying, has anyone read A.M. Shine, this Irish writer? He's, incorporating his own folklore and stuff. This book, The Watchers, is really good. The sequel, can't remember what it's called now, but the sequel is really good. So I'm intrigued to read that to see how many of the plot holes need to be really levied at him and how much, because as far as... And I know you like his stuff more than me. I think Shyamalan is a terrible writer, and the good writing he got out of his system in the first couple of films. Everything since has been appallingly written, peppered with plot holes. I don't think he can he can't write dialogue to save his life. He is the king of fucking filthy exposition, to the point where Old, your favorite film, he has a small child sitting on a bus with all the characters in the opening scene, going to each character saying, tell me your name and what you do. Yeah. If that's not the laziest bullshit writing. So I'm assuming that the stuff I hate about the writing in this is largely Shyamalan.
I don't know. I'm gonna blame A.M. Shine. I haven't read the book. I might pick it up just to see how close it is. I was just doing some reading, and it seems like plot. It's virtually beat for beat. It has the same twist and everything. I don't know. This is
I don't think it's for no reason whatsoever got an American in the lead role. I think that's a Shyamalan addition to make it sell, because it makes no sense. But I mean, the writing in this is just atrocious.
It's just, to me, this is a prime example of a squandered premise. Like I said, when I saw the trailer, I thought that looks interesting. I thought it was going to take much more of the human zoo kind of approach, like the classic Twilight
I would have
Zone.
much preferred we didn't get the entire last act where we find out it's fucking Irish fairies and all that sort of bullshit.
Fucking
and just
awful. Horrendous.
Don't explain it. Have the movie end when they escape. It still
same.
wouldn't be great,
I would
but
have
it would
preferred
be
that.
better.
Yeah.
It's, you know what it reminded me of a little bit? That I can't remember if it's Stephen King written or if it's Joe Hill written, but that In the Tall Grass, do you remember that from a couple of years ago?
No, I don't. No.
I want to say maybe it's, what's her name, Adria Arjona, but it's some woman gets, they break down the side of the road or something, and they walk into this big sort of cornfieldy thing, and they can't leave. There's, suddenly they're in this mystical thing
it's where
there's no end. They're being chased by shit. I can't remember. I'm probably getting some of the detail, but a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
But from memory with that one, a lot of the mystery is left unsolved. You get the sort of denouement where someone, gets to the end and escapes or whatever, but I don't think from memory it's all just explained with this bullshit folkloric.
Yeah.
Fuck. I get that this guy, he was, he's a recent university graduate. I think it was his first book, and he wants to do horror, but he wants to do it with Irish folklore. Fantastic. Hasn't really been, Irish folklore's influenced a lot of other shit from George R. Martin to, but it hasn't really been. The last thing I can remember apart from The Leprechaun is Darby O'Gill and the Little People, which is hardly a horror film.
I mean,
I like that, but it's so fucking ham-fisted and
yeah, I was going to say,
it doesn't work.
This movie is neither a horror. I would not call this a horror at all. You could maybe possibly call it a thriller. But even the Irish folklore does not add anything to this film for me. I would prefer if that was not it, because honestly, it is so ham-fisted. It is so outlandish. It is just ridiculous. I honestly found almost nothing redeeming about this film other than it's short. And honestly,
feel short
it's not that
all.
Short.
It did not feel short. It must be close to 2 hours.
No, I think it's about 1:40. It just feels close to 2 hours. Yeah.
I must have got more ads than I realized then, because I was in the cinema for over 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
And I only had one trailer for an M. Night Shyamalan film. Which
did you get a trailer for Trap? I haven't seen any trailers for that.
Hand on heart, and I this is just between you and me and no one else. Don't tell anyone. I'm actually keen to see it.
I'm keen to see it too. I haven't seen any trailers though.
Do you know the premise?
You told me the premise: a serial killer at a concert, and it turns out the concert is a trap. Yeah, you told me the premise.
I'd never heard of it until I saw this trailer yesterday.
No, that's not
me.
That's not
I
true.
Didn't tell you about it.
You told me. Yeah, you told me. I'm pretty sure you told me on this very show.
Maybe I read it and told you. I certainly hadn't seen anything.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Hartnett's back. He's playing a serial killer. I'm on board for that. I'm sure it'll be terrible, and the plotting and everything will be garbage. But it's a good premise. I'm keen.
Yeah.
Look, I know we're about to wrap because there's nothing else more to say about this shit. I need to go through this list of fucking things that irritated me that I wrote down.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
Straight up. Right. 1, she's in her car. She's driving this bird to Belfast Zoo. She leaves from Galway. She's on this fucking rickety country-ass road in the middle of nowhere, and her GPS says 100 and something miles till your destination. Her destination is Belfast Zoo. Is this the road that takes her directly to Belfast Zoo? Because that's not how fucking GPS works. GPS will tell you, in 100 miles, turn right onto fucking buttfuck road.
Stay on this road for such and such.
Apparently, this fucking rickety dirt road goes up to the doors of Belfast Zoo because that's how the GPS works.
It's also the entire premise of the folklore and the fairies and stuff. It kind of ruins things in hindsight for me. I don't mind the idea that this forest kind of draws people in who are crap or who need help or something.
Sure.
You know, and I like that idea. Once you find out it's fucking fairies, why the fuck is the GPS pulling her in there? Why does the car stop working once she gets there? Where does it disappear to? Like, all of that's bullshit.
I'm prepared to admit that if the kind of the fairy magic of the whole place can draw you in if you're just walking and ambling. Yeah. I'm prepared to admit that it can influence your GPS.
Oh, okay.
Fucking whatever.
Okay.
You know, right. It's magic, whatever. But once you get in, you can't get out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How did John Lynch get in and then get out every day to hire 13 new workers to build his fucking bunker?
Yeah. I know. I had the exact same thought.
And I worked it. That bunker would have taken... Let's be conservative and say 6 months to build. All right, I did the maths. The workers died every day.
Yeah.
13 workers a day. He has killed 2,372.5 people. He is the world's biggest, greatest serial killer.
He's worse than Hitler.
He's up with fucking Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
And no one noticed. I get that's a lot of fucking homeless itinerant workers going missing every day from the same fucking town.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be easier to hire a town? Yeah. Wouldn't it be easier to hire a crew and tell them? Like, he's able to get out to go get the crew. Wouldn't it be easier just to let the crew stay with him or take them with him?
Why does he need to sacrifice them? Let him knock off an hour early so they can go home to their families and come back. It makes no fucking sense.
No sense at all.
Did he build the room or just the bunker underneath?
I think he built the room as well.
He built the room. Why did he build a two-way mirror for the fucking creatures to watch us like a TV show?
Yeah, but also, like, why not let the workers stay in the room? Build the room first and then build the bunker so you have a safe place.
He's observing the creatures. Why does the one-way mirror work the other way? He can't observe shit.
Just make it a fucking window, mate.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Where did he get the boat from?
Yeah, well, I'm guessing the boat is how he got there and back every time. But you're right.
But how did he get... It takes you a day to get to the boat, and you know that if you go past the half a day mark, you can't get back in time before you get killed. How did he get from the boat to the bunk... Or the bunker to the... It's a day's journey. You can't do that and then get back to the fucking room. The sister believes her story very fucking quickly.
Yes, very
at the end.
I actually...
For someone who has been traumatized to the point of needing therapy for 15 years, she comes back and says, I've been lost in a magical forest where creatures were trying to kill me, da-da-da-da. She doesn't say... Just a second while I call the people in the white coats.
You know what?
She believes it?
I actually thought we were going to get second twist that the sister was one of the fairies, and that would have improved things.
Oh, fuck. The only thing the bird learns is try not to die so it can fucking chirp that every 5 minutes, fucking on the nose and annoy the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Main character, unlikable and awful. Yeah, we've covered that.
Yeah.
Their big escape plan... They know that the birds all fly away from the creatures when they come out, so they're going to follow the birds.
Yeah.
There is a flock of 1 million birds every day.
Yeah.
Why the birds come back is beyond me, but every day this 1 million birds flies out. Why do they need to release the yellow bird?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
And they follow that yellow bird. Well, they follow that yellow bird for half a day without losing it.
Yeah.
That is the slowest flying bird in the history of birds. And once they've released the bird and they're running for their lives, why is Dakota Fanning still carrying the cage?
Well, I guess
all the way to
the
well, yeah, because they fucking get the bird back.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
It's flown off. Why is it back in the cage?
It's a bad movie. There's nothing good about it.
Oh, my God.
I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. Absolutely the worst of the year for me so far. How are you scoring it?
Yeah, fuck, it's 2. The writing is so bad.
All right. So, obviously, the only movie to pair with a movie that's getting a combined 4 out of 20 from us is a movie that has been widely regarded as possibly the best movie of the 20th century or possibly of all time.
Eighth greatest movie of all time, according to Sight and Sound and a couple of something else.
Patreon request. We are, of course, talking about Mulholland Drive, 2001 surrealist mystery film written and directed by Mr. David Lynch, and it stars Naomi Watts, Laura Harring, Justin Theroux, Ann Miller, Mark Pellegrino, and Robert Foster. And what is it about, Dave?
You asshole.
Look, let's just go to
no.
basic. Yeah.
I'll have a crack. I'm game. It is about the perils of the Hollywood system and the desire for fame, and it is also a relationship drama.
Yeah.
And it is about the parallels between acting and amnesia.
You're going kind of deep here. Let's just say that a young woman is in a car crash and amnesically she befriends a upcoming Hollywood star, and that's what we'll say. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I reckon it's been a good 15
I didn't
years.
think you'd seen it before.
I had seen it. I remember very much enjoying it. I don't think
I know
holds
Noosk was
up.
a fan.
Yeah, I messaged you last night that I went to turn the Game Show Network on in bed, and she was like, "Why? You've already ruined the night with Mulholland Drive." She had not seen it before. And as much as I warned her, I'm like, look, it's weird. It's like, it is ostensibly a thriller, but it's a very weird movie. Like, I couldn't relate it to anything because she's never seen a David Lynch movie. And, I would have gone to, like maybe Yorgos Lanthimos or something. I don't think she's seen any Yorgos Lanthimos movies.
You should have warmed her up with like Blue Velvet or something that's a little bit more accessible.
Look, this movie did not live up to my memory of it, is all I'll say.
Ooh.
I still enjoyed it, but I don't think it works as well as a film as I thought it did. Because, I mean, I'm sure you know this. The film was originally a pilot for a TV show.
It's a fascinating
so
backstory.
More than half
film.
of it was filmed in '99 as a pilot.
Yep.
The network passed on it, of course. I mean, it's weird to say, of course, because Twin Peaks was running.
It's not that far after the conclusion of the original Twin Peaks run.
No,
so
that's
I'm
right.
surprised that they didn't go,
Well,
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. That shit was weird. Everyone fucking loved it. It's a masterpiece.
I don't know how much of it had to do with it, but apparently one of the major reasons the networks passed is that they thought both Laura Harring and Naomi Watts were too old. And I'm like, that is fucking cooked.
What?
Well, I got to say, Naomi Watts is older than I thought she was. Like, she's a straight up fucking babe in the early 2000s. She was 31 when this movie was released, which is older than I thought.
Really?
Still not old. And Laura Harring was 36.
We're talking. I mean, if you go back to when the TV pilot was done,
Yeah.
we're on the 25th anniversary of this film.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Naomi Watts is fucking older than me? Gearing up towards the downhill slope to 60? Fuck off. No, she's not.
Did I do my math wrong? She's 55. Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right? Fucking
still go there.
Oh, absolutely. So I don't know how much of the reasoning that was for the network, but either way, fucking dumb. So this movie is a real Frankenstein, and I don't know how many people know that, but I got to say, on this viewing, I really felt like I could feel that. I very much felt like I could tell the bits that were filmed for TV, and parts of it feel quite cheesy. I mean, even the score for this movie is very kind of, X-Files-y, late 90s
this
television.
This is some of Angelo Badalamenti's finest work. This score is amazing.
I just don't think the movie works as well as my memory of it. Because, I think that there's a lot of it that doesn't... It just doesn't... Yeah. It feels almost amateurish at times.
This is hurting. Look... Paul, dear patron, I will right this ship. this movie is a near masterpiece.
I knew that you'd say that, and I'm glad you are. Like, lots of people, I used to think that. I genuinely did. I was a big fan of this movie like the rest of the world. I messaged Topher last night saying, hey, what are your thoughts on this movie? He's like, probably the greatest American movie of all time. Like, he said he can't think of anything else that is...
Topher, come back. Billy needs a holiday and a rest
I mean,
cure.
let me say again, I like this. I still really like this movie.
Yeah.
I just think that on the whole... it doesn't work for me as well as my memory of it had me believe that it did. I think that you can feel at times the Frankensteinness of the film. And I think that, I mean, look, you brought up some beautiful stuff when I asked what this film is about thematically. There have been essays upon essays written about this film and what it means and what it signifies. A huge part of that is that David Lynch won't tell anyone what it means. The actors don't know what it means. All the actors have a different interpretation.
He gave at the clues, end of the day, which I love. I love
his 10 clues, his list of 10 clues, which I think mostly don't actually mean anything. I think it was just like, well, there are 10 clues to understanding this movie. Let me tell you about the 10 clues.
That's an amazing David Lynch.
Thank you.
Every single one of those 10 clues makes sense.
Yeah.
And every single one of those 10 clues works.
I mean, they're all very obvious clues. They're like, who gives who a key? They're like a comprehension quiz that you give a child at the end of reading a story.
The clue is not in answering the question. The clue is in why he's asking the question.
Yes, that's true.
Personally, I do not find this one of his more confusing films.
Oh, no, I don't think it's confusing at all.
I feel like I understand exactly what this film, everything about this film, I get.
Yeah, I actually think that people overstate. I don't think this film is confusing at all. You read a lot about, it's non-linear. It's not really. For most of the film, it's a pretty linear story.
The first 2/3 are a dream, and the reality is the end. And you've got a few hints through. But the problem is that you cannot understand this film on a first viewing. It is impossible. Maybe when you get to the end of the film, you can think back over it. But while you're watching it, I don't believe anyone is able... I don't believe it's possible to understand this film as you're going through it. But I think if you're paying attention and you get to the end, you'll go, oh, or at the very least on a subsequent viewing, all the things that were mysterious will make sense. You'll understand everything from the opening, the dance sequence that is your opening, montage.
That looks a little bit like looks a little bit like an early draft of an iPod commercial.
Fucking hell!
It does, mate. That is some.
It's beautiful.
Look, again, I really, really like the film, and I agree. And for me, you talk about the multiple interpretations. Like I said, there's so many different essays written about. Some people don't think it is a dream. I think it is. I think
they're wrong.
To me, it's pretty clear that is the only interpretation, and I think that explains so much of the surrealism in those first 2/3 of the film.
And all Lynch's clues all make sense if that is your interpretation.
Yes, 100%.
Everything from the red lampshades to the ashtray to the key to everything makes sense.
Yeah. I think
with that,
to me, it's very obvious that is what it is. That it's her dream, and but
she in a fit of anger, distress, melancholia, whatever, hired someone to kill her ex-lover.
Yeah,
couldn't deal with that, and created this dream, and then the reality seeps into the dream. Overcomes her again, and she kills herself.
Yeah,
it's that's literally the film.
100%. I agree with you. To me, that's the only way to interpret it. All right, so you think this is a masterpiece? Tell us what you think is.
This is not my favorite Lynch.
No, okay. Yep.
I think it is an amazing film. I think I would have loved to see the TV series that Lynch originally envisioned.
Same. I think this would have been stronger as a series.
I think what he's done to turn what he'd already shot into a film, I don't think it's... I don't think there are shortcomings because of that. I think he has done what he wanted to do and he has turned it into a thing, maybe not what he originally intended. Maybe his original intention was to have more of a narrative thing, and there were obviously a lot more characters planned because it was a show, and you've got people like Patrick Fischler who appear briefly, and
He's the hitman, yeah?
No, that's the Mark Pellegrino is the hitman.
Right.
Patrick Fistler, our friend from Night Shift, who came in with his wife and was abusive. So he's had a dream about this scary figure in an alley. I'm sure he would have had more of a presence had the show been a show. As it is, all he does is serve to introduce this scary figure and help that part of. And the scary figure obviously well, to me anyway, representing reality forcing its way into her dream, and sort of a personification of her guilt. All he's really there to do is to be a conduit to show that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that he would have had more of a presence. For example, I think we would have spent more time with Mark Pellegrino as the hitman,
100%.
who I think is great.
My favorite scene in the movie is that scene where he the bungled hit, where then he's got all of these dead guys,
and he does nothing wrong.
Then he sets off the alarm. It's just it's great. To me, that's the best scene in the film.
Shoots the fat chick in the ass. And then
yeah.
Oh, so good.
I think, to me, the film works best when it leans into those little vignettes. Like, my other favorite scene is Naomi Watts' audition, which is the one segment of it's really funny, actually.
She is so good in that.
She's so good because it is the one segment of that entire sequence that's not acted in this surreal, non-typical style. Most of the film, the acting is what in any other film you would call terrible. Like, I love Naomi Watts. In most of this film, she is acting poorly, but that is clearly David Lynch's vision and intention.
Everything is a little bit heightened because it's a dream. It is
100%. But that scene where she does, that actual acting, and you're like, oh, holy shit! Like, it really works.
And where reality starts seeping into the dream, the heightened over the top acting diminishes. So at Silencio Club, for example, where you get that incredible scene where, what's her name? Stephanie Del Rio, Vanessa Del Rio,
the blue head
Stephanie
woman?
Del Vega. No, the singer.
Yeah.
Does the version of Roy Orbison's Crying, the Hispanic version of that, and you've got her singing, and you've also got this undercurrent of Badalamenti's score coming in. And it's one of those moments that Lynch does so well where nothing's really happening, but you just start feeling sad while you're watching it.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
He does that better than any. I mean, Twin Peaks has got numerous moments like that where just the music and the close-up of faces, and you just start feeling melancholic and sad. And I think the acting in that scene is amazing because that's kind of reality forcing its way in as well.
I think for me, the only problem I really had with this film, and I kind of just touched on it with, like in any other film, you would label this as poor acting. Like, you really would. And it works because it's a dream and it's supposed to be surreal. But I think that I have seen better examples of that. I brought up Yorgos Lanthimos. I think Killing of a Sacred Deer is a stronger example for me of surrealism not coming off as cheesy, because that's what 90% of this movie came off for me when I watched it last night. And again, I remember really, really loving this film. But rewatching it last night, I was like, wow, a lot of this does feel like a bad 90s TV show watching it back. Like, it does come across really cheesy. And again, I know that's his intention. It's supposed to not be real life. It's meant to be surreal. And like you said, heightened. It's like German expressionism. It's that really kind of heightened, almost pantomime style of acting. And it didn't really land that well for me on rewatch last night.
No, that's fair.
Fair. Look, maybe that's more of a me problem. And again, I don't hate this film. I want to be clear on that. I like it.
You know how arrogant and opinionated I am. Normally, much as I feel like everyone should like what they like, and if you like something I think is crap, I will just appreciate the fact that you get enjoyment from it. But deep down, I think, somehow you're lesser because of that. And if I love something and someone doesn't quite understand it, it's obviously a failing on their part. David Lynch is one where I sort of give people a pass. So it's like, I know he's a Marmite director. I know you either you're on board with kind of the Lynch of it. You know, there's a reason Lynchian is probably in the Oxford Dictionary as an adjective because it's been used so often. I've not disliked anything he's ever done. In fact, I would say I like / love everything he's ever done because I've always been on board with ever since Eraserhead. I just
I love Eraserhead.
I love. I was going to ask. Well, that's what I was kind of, you know, what's your kind of? I know you're until fairly recently your Tarantino filmography was quite small. Have you kind of across?
I feel like my Lynch is probably better than my Tarantino was.
Well, it's always a good thing. It should be.
I mean, Eraserhead, Elephant Man, Dune, Blue Velvet. So those first four, I have not watched Twin Peaks, which I have been meaning to. Obviously, Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway. I've seen. So yeah, I feel like I've seen. And
Lost
most
Highway
of
was the one I was going to ask about because I adore Lost Highway. It's probably in my top 3.
Yeah, I think I like
films.
Lost Highway better than this.
And it I think. So I would put this as on first viewing one of his hardest to follow. But I think if you watch it twice, it's one of his more. It's one of his more straightforward films.
I mean, again, I don't find it hard to, and even so, like I said, it was Noose.
I mean, I'm comparing to like Eraserhead, Lost Highway, Inland Empire. There are other films that I think are a lot less accessible.
Again, it was Noosk's first watch last night, and she narratively understood it. Like she totally got that. You know, first half was a dream, etc., etc. But
she's better than most critics out there.
But things like, okay, what is with the scene in the diner and that guy having the dream? Why the hitman killing that guy in the bungled hit? The bungled hit scene has nothing to do with anything.
Why are there tiny old people in the paper bag?
Yeah, the tiny old people, and that's not even in the dream sequence. That's in the real portion of the film. Like, what the fuck is that? And they're the same old people at the start of the movie. So they were the kind of things that Noose was like, why, David Lynch? Why? Like, you know, narratively she got it. It was those kind of things. And I think the truth is, if I'm going to be totally honest, I don't know how much of that David Lynch really has an answer for. I think he likes... I think he is a filmmaker that likes people to interpret, and he likes people to...
He is an artist first and a filmmaker second, and always has been.
Yes.
Like he's a painter, he's a sculptor. And if I don't know if you've ever seen any of, or even his short films, but certainly his sort of mixed media art and stuff, where he's incorporating insects and paint and sculpture. You know. He's a weird dude, and he has a weird modern artist sensibility.
Yeah.
And film is just one of the outlets that he's kind of spits it out into. And I think, yes, quite often there are things in there that are there because he wants to evoke. He's on record as saying film is like music.
Yeah.
It's not like books.
Yeah.
Film evokes emotion.
Yes.
And
I think he's absolutely right there. Yeah.
Sometimes you evoke emotion with a narrative story,
and sometimes you through visuals
or audio, or through sound,
yeah.
And that's why he and Angelo Badalamenti have kind of worked together on almost everything through his career, because they kind of get one another. And he's always, like John Carpenter, he's always been intrinsically involved in the entire scoring process, because he doesn't see the auditory and the visual components of his films as separate. It's all just one thing.
100%.
That he wants to make you feel something, and if you understand it, fine. If you don't, that's fine too.
Yeah,
it's fine to just kind of intuit the film and let it wash over you.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think,
because for example, I don't think
works for some people.
I don't think the old people in
the
the paper bag actually means anything. I think that's just something that David Lynch was like, yeah, this will be fucking fun.
Or it could be. I mean, I think they're obviously meant to be her parents, even though in the dream she meets them on the trip. I think they're her parents, and that's why you see them sort of in sort of over the top of the dance contest, because they were there when she won the dance contest.
Yeah.
And and them escaping from the bag where the blue box is. Maybe that's reality kind of escaping from her guilt and within the dream. Blah blah blah. I'm kind of verbally wanking now, but
which I think is fun to do. I think
there may be that may be a reason. Maybe it's not. I mean, I don't care because I kind of just like the absurdism of it and the surrealism and the fact that it's unexpected and it just kind of it's another part of
and I think
segment of the film.
I think the thing for me is that it's a bit of I'm trying to think of exactly what I'm trying to say here because I also like the surrealism. I don't think the execution throughout most of this film works as well as I thought it did. Like I said, with that entire dream sequence, I don't think the quote unquote, just the style of acting, it doesn't work for me as much as my memory of it is. Same with, the little people in the bag. If visually it was executed better, I think I could get on board with it. But the execution really does look like a student film. And that's the same thing I was saying about the opening dance sequence across the title credits. The execution is very poor. And not all of that is David Lynch's fault. Some of that is just the time. This is a 25-year-old film. Yeah.
25 years ago, he's not working with the same budgets as James Cameron.
Yes. But
because
the execution
because of his approach, he doesn't care.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I get that.
So,
and I do think... like I said, I prefer Lost Highway to this.
Yeah.
As a kind of underbelly of LA, kind of looking at that city through a David Lynch lens. Lost Highway, I think, is a more complete, more cohesive, even though it's probably more inexplicable in a lot of its narrative. I prefer it in terms of tone and everything else, but fuck it, Mulholland Drive, I still love it.
Yeah, I mean, look, so I still liked it a lot. I'm a 7 out of 10. I'm assuming you're a 9.
Yep.
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, nice.
9 out of 10. It's not quite at. It's kind of between probably 8.5 and 9, but I'll go 9. Yeah. Whereas Lost Highway is a strong 9 for me, and Eraserhead's probably a 10.
Yeah. Thank you, patron Paul, for making us watch this. Please let us know, because Paul didn't say whether he likes or dislikes this movie. He just wanted us to watch it. So, Paul, let us know what you think of this and kind of your interpretations on some of it. Next week, we'll be getting to Inside Out 2, which I'm pretty quietly excited for. I've seen the trailer a couple of times now, taking the kids to the movies, and I think it looks all right. Are you keen on that?
I'm not expecting it to be as good as the first one.
No.
And I'm going to be super, super bummed out if they don't lean into the fact she's a teenager and have like really emo fucking...
Yeah.
What are your teenage emotions? Belligerent and horny. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. We also have another patron request for Barbarella, which I don't know if we should pair it with Inside Out 2 though, or if we should wait till the week after.
Why not? No, I want to do Barbarella next week.
All right, Inside Out 2 / Barbarella. There you go. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at pottymouthradio.com.
Over at pottymouthradio.com.
Oh, you do a good Lynch as well. Lynch is really easy to do. All you need to do is talk like this, and you're doing Lynch.
We've enjoyed having your company.
But thank you for joining us. So that's what we're getting to next week. Go check out all the rest of the shows on the Potty Mouth Network, and we'll catch you then.
Goodbye.